Mithali, do you wish you were playing at this time Women's Premier League? What's your reaction to it?
Don't you think that is a bit too late after the auction? But no, I don't think it's too late for me because as this is not the first time I was asked this question, but I feel that my role in the sport was meant for something else. So I'm content the way my career shaped, being part of the evolution of women's cricket, if I can put it that way. And I've thoroughly enjoyed playing for whatever years that I've played. So I don't miss the sport. So I'm absolutely fine retiring when I thought I felt like that it is the right time to move on. So there's no regret about it.
Mithali, initially you people went for more of the overseas players. What was the strategy behind it, and if you could just explain?
Well, as a franchisee, we just not wanted to pick players based on their performance, but also nurture because this is the first edition, and we wanted to lay a good foundation for the franchisee, which will go in a long way. And we wanted to pick players who can help build a good environment, even for young talents. So the reason that being one of the factors for us to pick players that we wanted to pick.
Yeah.
Hi, Mithali, Mohit here. So you've been a railways stalwart and your team has 4 railways players, Dayalan, Himlata, S. Meghna, Tanuja, and yeah. So how much did your knowledge of the domestic circuit play to your team's advantage? Because you've coached the team, mentored the team to 2 titles this year itself, and most of the domestic players that your team has picked are all players who've had a really great season, not just this year, but in the past few years as well. So how much did your knowledge of the domestic circuit help the team?
Uh, See, just not mine. I also have Nusheen, who's been coach for the Indian Railways. She's also been coach for Chhattisgarh. So she's been in the domestic circuit as a coach for many teams, and her knowledge of just not the railway players, but the other players in the domestic circuit also helped us. And seeing these players from a close quarters, I know where I can fit them in the composition of the team.
Mithali, hi. We saw a lot of the teams going for the uncapped players right towards the end, the lesser known domestic players, the young players. How important are they to the overall depth to the squad over and above the star players and the big names?
See, as I said, and I also believe that when a magnitude of this tournament on a platform like this, it's just not picking performers and the current players. You also need to have one eye on the future, and having the under 19 players who've just won the first ICC trophy, World Cup trophy, in a way to be picked by franchises, and they also get to work on from the support staff that every franchisee has hired. It will give them exposure of being part of that sort of a setup, and also tournaments like this get a professional approach to it. For a young players, under 19 players, it's a huge thing to be part of a setup like that.
Mithali, yeah. How do you see this new role as a mentor or a coach as a challenge for yourself?
I would say it is not much of a challenge because even while I was playing, had a long career, there are many stages of my career that I have been able to share my experience with the younger players or players of my age group. So in a way, I would say that this is just a natural stage to move on from the retirement. And I'm definitely looking forward to this role.
Mithali, if you have to summarize this auction with 1 or 2 or 3 points about a rejection or a recruitment or a trend, what they would be?
I'm too exhausted to come up with the right words. But yes, for some it's been a disappointment. There are some very good picks. Some have gone for higher bid, and some lower than expected. But I think that's what this auction is about. You can't really you're pretty much betting and guessing. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes not, and that's the interesting part of the auction.
Oh, hi, Mithali. Ajit Kumar here from The Hindu. So how was it, sitting there and not being a player and being part of an auction like this? So how did you feel? How was the experience like?
I think I've enjoyed it. It's a first time experience to be in the auction, just not to put in the hard yards of personally for the franchise that I am part of, Gujarat Giants, but also to see how the other franchises have done, how they have done their bidding. So in a way, it is a new experience. Few things I was able to pick from the other franchises who've bid, especially RCB, DC, Mumbai Indians, because they already have a men's league team. So obviously they are experienced in terms of the auction. So that way I got to learn or probably pick few things.
Mithali, obviously, Australia's had Big Bash going on for a while. England's had the other league, and now the 100. Speaking with Australian and the England players, what does this mean in terms of the scale of money that the women cricketers, even the overseas players, are getting, and what is your overall assessment of what this sort of money means?
Well, just not in terms of money. I think fan following, the sport, and they themselves will have when they come to India, because what little I could analyze from the overseas followers is that maximum of their followers are from the Asian diaspora, Asian countries. So when they come to India and they do well, they will have their own fan base. And because of the reputation of IPL, WPL is also expected to be what IPL is in men's, in women's cricket. So everybody want to be part of this huge setup.